Hey, welcome everybody. It is Tuesday night, 7 p.m. That means it's Outlawed Live with Ron Stone and my co-host Mike Idle, who filled in so superbly for me last week. Mike, I appreciate that.
Yep. It was a lot of fun, and you'd earned some time off. You've been knuckles to the buckles lately, so I was glad to do it, bud.
I appreciate it, and man, what a week we've got lined up here this week.
Yeah,
I mean, it just started, literally just started moments ago in Albion, Nebraska. I've got the live stream going in the other room. I can hear it. Sounds like maybe the two-wheel drives or the Pro Stock four-wheel drives maybe have just started. Literally as the intro to the show was coming on, I heard the national anthem. So it starts tonight in Albion, Nebraska, 2 outlaw classes, complementing the Heartland group of the Outlaws classes there in Albion. Tomorrow night in Concord, Nebraska. Thursday night in Onawa, and wow, Mike, that pull is turning out to be a lot of hooks. Last I looked, it was almost 80 for a Thursday night hook at the Monona County Fair in Onawa, Iowa. Then, of course, Friday night, Thunder in the Valley, Rock Valley, Iowa. Last I checked there, we were well over 100 hooks on Friday night, Saturday afternoon, and then Saturday night. And, of course, Saturday night also, David City. So arguably the one of the busiest weeks on the Outlaws.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it feels like it's Rock Valley week, which is taking on a huge new significance. But it also kind of feels like everyone's saying, why wait till Friday? Let's kick this party off now. And you can see that with what you're talking about, these pullers going ahead and pre-registering and saying, we'll go ahead and hook a few times before we go there. I anticipate we will see as many hooks, not just the crowd, but just vehicles in Rock Valley as we've seen in a long time. I think we're going to see every last outlaw puller and a lot of guests and regional level and a lot of state level, and they're going to come out of the woodwork for this week. I really have that feeling.
Yeah, I got a call last night, and I didn't recognize the number, but I recognized the last name, and it was Holman.
Sure.
I might want to take that
call
call
on the app today.
It was
your Ohio senses were tingling, weren't they?
I saw the name Holman, but it didn't say Paul. I think it must have been his wife. Her name on the caller ID, and I thought I better take that one.
Yep.
What it was, Paul Holman. They were looking to get signed up, and I turned them towards the Outlaw Pulling app, and of course they got signed in. I saw that today, so very cool. People are still talking about when they were at Rock Valley in 2020.
2020. Yep. I watched all that from home. There was a lot of guest pullers that year. There was only so many places to pull, and when they offered a big level pull like that, the Holmans, Jim Bosch, Travis Slaubaugh, I mean, a lot of people showed up to play in the sand for that one. So, but it's interesting. It seems like once they pull there once, they kind of get the outlaw bug and the Rock Valley bug, and you see them come back again.
Yeah, I think, a lot of times they see that, they feel that family atmosphere that we have. The Sullivans, spoke to that after the pull down in White a couple of weekends ago. And they said, the atmosphere was really cool. Everybody was super nice and like a family atmosphere, literally. And said they definitely want to do at least one pull with us every summer now. Now that, they've broken through and seen what we're all about. Last year, of course, Craig Corzine showed up at Rock Valley with the whole crew, brought the whole fam, and all the trucks were there. And he said the same things and went on and on about the track there in Rock Valley. Said it was the greatest track he'd ever pulled on. So, of course, this year, I mean, the storyline, of course, the flood in Rock Valley, Iowa, the surrounding areas up there. It's a free show. All they're asking for is a goodwill donation at the gate, or go to what is the site, Mike? Help me out.
GoFundMe.
There's a couple of them. GoFundMe is where they've set up that account. So it's not required, but a goodwill donation is appreciated. The pull is totally free. So, you can bring the whole family, give what you can to help the folks out, because Rock Valley's hurting. Surrounding areas there are hurting. The floods are a different situation. Insurance doesn't always cover floods. And most times actually it doesn't. And then you get the government involved with FEMA, and you got people up there with no homes, and FEMA doesn't pay out and help for a couple of years. It takes a couple of years, so some of the people there are going to be without homes for a couple of years at least, 2 to 2.5 years. So it's the least we can do for the community that has been so gracious to us in the pulling world there at Thunder in the Valley. So looking very forward to it.
As am I, Ron, and I spoke about this on Let's Grow Pulling last night. Not only do we hope that this is a very big financial success and endeavor to help, in any way that we can, but it also is starting to take on that significance where we, on the production side of the Outlaws and the pullers, we're going to be on our A game, because we not only want to give them some folding cash to help with some things, but we want to give them 2 nights off. We want to give them some of the best entertainment and an emotional reprieve. Very, very excited to be a part of what we can give just in the show we're going to provide to these people. And it's one of those, we know everyone's going to be, the pullers are going to set it up to 10, and you and I are going to be up there with the microphones, and we're going to be just doing everything we can to make sure that everyone has a lot of fun for those 36 hours.
Yeah. And of course, we're talking about the tragedy of the flood. I mean, which, there was a lot of property lost, a lot of homes lost. I think there was one actual death there due to the floods. Yeah. A child passed away. And then this past Friday, the news of Dave Bennett, of course, longtime retired announcer with the Outlaws, was coming back to do Rock Valley one more time with us. And I got the news there Friday afternoon that Dave and his wife were out riding Harleys. He's retired, and that was their thing. And they were out riding in Arkansas with Lori and Kevin Bauer, Lori being our secretary and Kevin being, the primary sled operator. And, I don't know the details, but they missed a curve down in Arkansas, and Dave's wife, Linda, passed away at the scene, and Dave's pretty banged up. I haven't been contacting the family because I'm sure their phones are blowing up. Yep. But I've been getting, they've been giving some details. The son put out a post today on Dave's actual Facebook page. Said he had a couple of surgeries, I think yesterday, and it's due for a lot more surgeries.
Right.
But he is, he's still with us. Probably on a lot of pain meds and such. So I can't imagine what he's going through right now, losing his wife and still in the hospital and all. But all prayers, please, folks, say some prayers for Dave Bennett. He was going to be with us this week in Rock Valley, but it looks like we've got another legend going to be with us. Fred Petch is going to be on the mic with us. Yeah. He's going to be working the winter circle. So, despite, all the bad news, we want to look forward to these events and not just Rock Valley, but like I said earlier, we've got a lot of events going on this week. Great pulls. One going on right now, just started in Albion, Nebraska. Tomorrow night in Concord, Nebraska, the Dixon County Fair. Thursday night in Onawa, Iowa, the Monona County Fair. And of course, Friday and Saturday, Thunder in the Valley, and also Saturday night, the David City, Nebraska pulls. So a lot going on, Mike. Are you ready for this?
I am. I'm looking very forward to it. I didn't go down to White Ride. I kind of caught my breath before that. Really missed out on that. I can't wait to get to Texas, but we're rested and reprieved, and I just look forward to giving back to an association that's had some, taken some on the chin this summer. So it's going to be a good week just to be a part, just to be with the Outlaw family, and just to be with everything that it stands for. So I'm excited, but, we understand that there's some tough emotions as well.
Yeah, it's Kevin Davis checking in. Nice to see you guys. Marty Samuelson checking in. Zuck Fukerberg, Thomas Newharth checking in tonight. Russ Dostal says when you get to Rock Valley, you need to drive around the north part of town to understand the full depth of the devastation there. So I know I spoke to some folks about camping there. Of course, the RV park there was right by the river, so it's not going to be open from what I've been told. So if you're going to be camping, you're going to have to do, in a camper, you'll have to use your tanks. There's no plug-ins. You'll have to use a generator because the RV park is not going to be up and running by this weekend. thanks to everyone for tuning in here. It's going to be a busy show. We do have Kurt Koima. I know he's been busy doing shows. I think he came on last week. We got him lined up to come on, and then he was on last night with you guys on Let's Grow Pulling. And I told him we wouldn't keep him long. He's going to come to us live from the track there. And then you and I are going to talk about these pulls coming up. We're going to look at the app. We're going to talk numbers, and we're going to do your part when the smoke clears. Sure. I guarantee you, we're going to be right there at that 8 o'clock mark saying, wow, where did the hour go?
So, if there's something you and I can do, it's blab about truck and tractor pulling. So we're usually not hurting to fill that hour time slot.
Robert Miner watching from Nebraska. Thanks for watching. Billy Joe Breheim. The campground is closed for the rest of the year. Case Conover watching from Lytle, Texas. Texas, I wasn't on last week with you guys. Texas was hot, man. It was warm down there.
That's what we heard. I got a hold of my buddy, fellow Northeast Missouri resident Jason Wayman. Congratulated him on a huge weekend down there in Texas. And I said, what'd you think? And he goes, it's hot. It's really hot. And then, of course, we had the Texas Bullwhip Motorsports team on here last weekend. And I asked them, I said, how was it? And they said, it was hot. And I said, now, if the residents of Texas are telling me it's hot, I said, is this hot by your standard? They said, it's hot even by Texas standards. So,
they were on fire. The Bullwhip tractor was on fire. Got 2 in a row, just like Jason Wayman did. So.
Swept the weekend. Some awesome week. Well, the Texas boys down there, a lot of fun stuff to look at from that Whitewright. The 2 Texas pullers that pulled in the modified finished 1 and 2. And then, of course, Mr. Sullivan came in 3rd. So those Texas boys says, welcome to Texas. But we're not going to give you the father's chair just yet. You're going to have to come back and play in the sandbox before we give you that number 1 spot. So that was a lot of fun stories came out of Whitewright.
Yeah, Donnie Sullivan said they might be a little better prepared next time. That tractor is set up to run at 6,200 pounds with the twin Hemis on it. They never run it at 7,400. He said they were really scrambling to find places to put weight on it. They just weren't.
Weird problem in tractor pulling. I mean, we don't hear that. Usually it's how can we put this tractor on a diet? It's not typically we have 1,200 extra to play with. Did they hang it evenly on the front and the back? Did they throw it all on the front? I mean, what was their strategy?
That I don't know where they put it all at, but I know they were a little bit over geared as far as being on the high side, maybe just being safe, but they did tell me they were going to run the same gear, and you could tell. So I would bet next time we see them come pull in the Outlaw 7,400-pound class, they'll probably go down just a little bit in gear to get a little more RPM and get those tires spinning a little harder. Those guys been around for a while, as our legends, Donald Nelson and Cameron Neves and our bunch there. But I would venture to say they might gear it down just a little bit next time.
The track looked like it needed to be driven incredibly aggressively. And I noticed on Donald's run each time he was into the throttle hard and early, but you had to be able to produce that power because that track was going to take it back away from you on the big end. And it looks like he just threw that right hand forward coming out of the hole.
Yeah, trying to get that quick hook on the track. Zuck Fukerberg, of course, Doug Both. Said it wasn't terribly hot. I didn't think it was terribly hot either. I've been in warmer situations, but I was changing shirts and hats a lot. I'll tell you that throughout the day. I got down there Thursday. Of course, there was a little bit of a breeze on Saturday. It wasn't so bad. But yeah, it was a lot of fans, a lot of pulling fans down there. Was a really
they pack a big crowd. Every time I've live streamed that pull, that's the one takeaway. I'm like, the grandstands look huge, and it looks like they come out in droves. They really have a good draw down there in Whitewright, and that's everything we're in this game for, is to see exactly that.
Yeah, Cody Roberts watching, says, love watching you guys, love watching tractor pulls. So do we, Cody. Come see us every Tuesday night at 7. Mark J. Ham. Good evening, gentlemen. Good evening, Mark. We'll see you. Will we see you tomorrow night, Mark, in Concord?
Certainly we'll see him by at least Friday, I believe.
Stephen Cusack watching from Central City, Nebraska. It's 7:21. Robert Miner, let's see. He's checking in when the classic is full. Are you open for more pullers? We don't have a cap on pullers, Robert. It's just, if as long as you fit the rules and you pay your entry fee, man. You're in. As long as you pass tech and all that, you're good to go. Mark says Friday night only. Tammy Hunick watching from Lincoln, Nebraska. Tina Berger, love when Ron sings the national anthem. Thanks, Tina. Kurt, let's get Kurt on here. We don't want to keep him too long. He just popped in backstage
live trackside. Look I see some beautiful blue skies waiting overhead in the green room back here. It's got to be a welcome here. Beautiful blue skies back there.
Oh yeah, it's beautiful. I brought Tim Blancaspor with me this time because you guys are gonna have to start paying me to do this.
You're a professional at this point. You need your own show, man. I mean, we just gained 30 more viewers as soon as we put your face on there.
This is a better looking face. No, I don't.
Actually, we dropped like 50 viewers as soon as he popped on, Mike. It was
like that. Whoa, wow.
No, thanks,
my neighbor.
Thanks for coming on. We won't keep you guys long. We know you guys are working. How's it looking there?
Excellent. I can, if I can figure out, I'm going to show you how do I do this? I want to show you the garbage pile I'm going to spin it. I don't know if you can see it or not, but they have about 10 side dump loads left to get out of town. And then this dump site is shut down.
That's where
yeah, go ahead, Ron, because I think you're going to say the same thing.
That's basically where all the damage and everything. That was the transition place where they were dumping all the debris and everything there in the pit area, basically.
Yes, I don't know what it's probably at. A week ago, it was at 7,000 ton they had hauled out of here. Wow. I would imagine we're getting close to more like 9,000 now.
Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy. So big thanks to all the volunteers that came up and helped there a couple weekends ago. Man, they did a lot of work in a short period of time, looks like.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't know, coming from out of town, if you would even know there was, at least right on the pulling arena, the grandstands, the track and whatnot, if you would know there was a flood here. It looks that good. And I'll be honest with you, I was one of the doubters on this thing, and we're pretty grateful Kurt pushed it as much as he did, because this place looks great, and this weekend's going to be a lot of fun. And we hope to raise a lot of money.
Yeah, I really had the feeling in my gut that, the communities and pulling communities and families are going to rally around this event. I hope the weather is going to cooperate. What's the weather forecast look like?
80, 85 84 on Friday, and 89 or 90 on Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday's going to be warm.
And what about
for those worried about mosquitoes? We are spraying every day, so we will have this place dead.
Well, we have a lot of
Go ahead.
A lot of diesel smoke classes there, so we got some organic mosquito control also there.
Yeah, right. That's very true.
Go ahead, Mike.
Ron's just afraid he's going to have to build a bonfire again on Friday night. So when you were talking about those 80-degree temperatures, I could see the relief just lift off his shoulders. So we won't be needing the sweatshirts this time around, it sounds like.
Hopefully not.
Although I would take that again.
Yeah, I've got a hoodie. I got a hoodie in the RV just in case. I was thinking about that earlier when I was packing. I was like, you never know. I doubt it would get that cold again as it did last year on Friday night, but you never know.
I think it got down to like 46 or 47 degrees that night.
Yep.
It felt like 36. It really did. I mean, once the wind started blowing. Mark Ham says Tim is my hero.
That's why I brought him on here. He's a legend.
You guys are too kind. I'm just a fan.
I'm starting to see some different names, that aren't necessarily that correlate with the Outlaws guys. That I see the Holmans are signed up again. Seeing some different names on the app. Some people signed up to come. Have you heard of anybody different coming that gets you guys excited?
I know the Ridge Runner out of Ohio. He had us on his list along with the NTPA Grand National circuit that he's running. Burkholtz out of Wisconsin in the light pro. They're on the list. And no, we've come one, come all. Consider this your invitation.
Yeah, I love the public. Kurt, was it you or Dave last night that had heard rumors of Shawmix and Blagraves and Corzines? Where I feel like that got kicked around somewhere as well.
Yeah, I think ceramics, it depends on if they got parts or not. That's what Brian left it with me as. And I think Corzine was coming. He didn't officially confirm it, but he was going to try to come with Steve Bollinger.
Oh, very cool.
Ron, somebody told me you said Blagraves were coming.
I said that?
Your boss probably told me that. So
he must have said it.
When it's coming from your boss, who knows if it's true or not?
Right. Yeah, you never know what to believe with that guy, right?
Yeah.
Well, they're sitting right on the cusp of points, and if they don't have a hook where they typically pull, that's one of those where why not? Why not go chase some points? And that's one of those things where one thing leads to another, and before you know it, I've watched pullers do that before. So they're right there. If their weekend's free, what's a drive from Ackerley, Texas? No big deal.
How far are they from Dallas?
They're out in West Texas. They're out there by the Neveses, I think, or they're in the Lubbock area.
Yeah, I think that's exactly how he described it, was out in West Texas when we interviewed him down there last Friday. So, yeah, anywhere in Texas is a long haul to anywhere else. But you guys, I was talking about camping a little bit. What do you know, if anything, about camping for anybody that might be interested in bringing an RV? Are there places where they can park? I know there's no hookups that I've heard of, but are there any designated areas for campers?
The same area across the highway that's always been there is designated. So,
okay.
But no hookups, of course.
Gotcha.
Like I said last night, the town campground is currently closed for renovation.
Yeah, I heard that was pretty much closed for the rest of the year, is what I was hearing. So, got some people chiming in here. Andrew Sprox is good to hear Rock Valley's still a go. Shout out to the volunteers. Yeah, anybody you guys want to thank, any particular groups or sponsors or folks that really stood out in the volunteer effort?
This is Tim's job.
The Saturday that I was here, I would like to throw a shout out to the Outlaw teams that I saw. Andrew Meister was here, Barry Molly, they were here. I think Klein Hesslinks were here. God, who else did I see?
The
George Beyer, I think, sent a pile of employees. I saw quite a few George Beyer shirts, and it seemed like Outlaw pullers came out, at least ones out of Nebraska that were relatively close, and lended a hand that week.
We've seen Chad Andrews' wife work him under the table.
Oh, and all joking aside, I do want to give a shout out and a huge thank you to Dave Nelson for what he's done the last couple of weeks and his coordinating efforts. And so we want to say thank you to him.
Dave's spraying tonight. He said he would have liked to come on again, but he said he needed to get some spraying done. It is a busy week for us.
Holganix, of course, they fed us all. Came with the trailer, kept us watered.
Yep.
Beverage later. It was good.
Yeah, I saw Todd brought the trailer out and fed everybody. So yeah, big thanks to everybody involved there. Anything different this year? I know besides it being free admission, goodwill donation, we talked about that before we brought you on, but anything else different spectators or pullers might expect there this year?
No.
It should be status quo.
We're selling them Pulling for Hope shirts where all the proceeds go back to the town at $20 a piece. So I think they'll be sold at the Outlaw trailer and maybe 2 other stands. We haven't decided yet, but we have a lot of them. So.
Okay. Awesome. Well, guys, I know you guys are busy. We won't keep you. So get back to work there, and we'll see you guys on Friday. We'll be in Onawa on Thursday night, but we'll be there late Friday night. Looks like we're pushing 80-some hooks in Onawa right now. So might be there a little longer than we thought, but we'll definitely be there on Thursday night. Thank you guys so much for coming on.
Yep, sounds good. See you.
Thank you, folks.
Yep.
Cool. Kurt Koima, Tim Blank score there. Working, getting things in order. They said don't expect anything different there. It's with all the volunteer efforts, the companies that have gotten involved and sent employees, and and helped out in every way possible. They said the place, you couldn't even tell it was flooded here a couple weeks ago. Crazy.
Yeah, when they panned there briefly, I mean, that just looks like just a well done pulling track, and I mean that's what you want. It's going to be. It feels like we're going to be on our feet, Ron. It feels like it's going to be the real deal.
Cole Lundahl checking in from the Dixon County Fair in Concord. That's where we'll be tomorrow night. Mark Ham says, make sure everyone buys a pork sandwich, of course.
Yep. I want to talk about Concord really quick because we did launch something new. Jason and his many wondrous ideas that he has, and I'm going to try to find this on the Outlaw page really quickly. So we're launching a new thing with outlawpulling.tv, and I've dubbed it the City Connect series. So every week from here on out, what we're going to do, we're going to find a city of the same name in a different state. And then anyone from that city who can prove their residency to the Outlaws will receive a single-time free pass to the live stream. So I'm looking up really quick. We had a gentleman from Concord, North Carolina. Concord, North Carolina was our City Connect this week. And I believe his name was Billy. I'm going to find it really quickly. I think his name is Billy Hare or something to that effect from Concord, North Carolina. And he is going to receive a free one-night pass. Billy Decker of Concord, North Carolina is going to receive a free one-night pass to Concord, Nebraska. We're going to roll this out next week. Warrensburg, Missouri is going to be sister cities with Warrensburg, Illinois. So look out for the post. And if you can connect the two, you just might receive a free one-night pass to the live stream. So
is this the first response type deal? The first responder?
Yeah, first one that we see in there. We generated a post and it just said, if you can't be in Concord, Nebraska because you're in Concord, North Carolina, let us know. And I sift through the inbox, and Mr. Billy Decker was the first one in there, and he sent me a piece of junk mail proving he was from Concord, North Carolina. So once a week, if we can find a City Connect, we'll reward a lucky fan and just kind of spread that Outlaw footprint and give these pulling fans as much fun as they can handle. So
you chose Concord, North Carolina, or what if somebody would have responded from Concord, New Hampshire?
So we did. I considered that. No, I decided to pick the specific. You Google, you type in Concord, and you kind of find one, and it could have been. I just decided North Carolina. Seems like there's pulling fans in North Carolina. A lot of good, blue collar people in North Carolina. So believe it or not, all our next pulls, the only one that had a same matching town was Warrensburg, and the only other Warrensburg was in Illinois. So that's all we found. A lot of Montgomerys, but no other Montgomery cities. A lot of Lee counties, but no other Lees. So Warrensburg of all places. But yeah, Billy Decker, congratulations. You get to watch Concord, Nebraska.
Probably not a lot of Onawas out there either, are there?
No, we didn't. Once I found Concord, North Carolina, we were rocking and rolling because he said we're going to give away one per week, no more than that.
Okay. Marty Samuelson pointing out Gary Barrett might be done. That's what I hear also.
I don't know anything about this. Educate me. What's the scuttlebutt here?
I heard this yesterday that he broke a crank and most likely will not get one before the end of the season. Unfortunately, the parts shortage is still a thing,
Wow. And Gary was riding well, especially in that regional points. Gary was having a good regional level, had some strong wins over the past couple, or some strong showings over the past couple of weekends. So bummer. Beautiful track.
Crank, Mike, it just right now they're unable to find one, and probably the points run is probably going to come to an end for them.
Yeah.
The parts thing, it's still a thing. It's hopefully we're going to get past that thing and start getting some parts on the shelves. Of course, these aren't stockable parts. They're not.
You don't go down to O'Reilly's and say I need a new crank for my 9,500 pound limited pro stock. So.
TJ's Cool Adventures. I subscribe because I love tractable. Very cool. Cool. Let's see. We got that one. Mark Ham. We got that one. Lori Bauer. Those guys, see you soon. They're on their way. They've been down there at the hospital with Dave Bennett. Very cool. Very busy week, Mike. I looked up on the schedule, and there's like 3 weeks that are similar to this in this season. This is the first of 3 super busy weeks.
Well, we've got 1 week where you and I, this week we're kind of together. The band, as we've been calling it, the band stays together this week, and we've got, what is it, 5 shows in 4 days or something like that.
7 sessions actually of pulling.
Right.
Yeah.
But then there's a sweep within the next 2 weeks. You're going to go your direction and I'm going to go mine. And we've got 8 shows in 4 days where we're doubled up. We're in 2 different cities for 4 consecutive nights on like a Wednesday through a Saturday or something like that. So no, it's buckle up. You're going to see a lot of pulling, and you're going to see the points races. Someone might be sitting in first right now on a Tuesday night and be way different by the end of the week this upcoming Saturday. So you'll see some stuff move in a hurry.
Yeah, I wanted to point something out that I saw on the app as I was looking, and he's been kind of quiet about it, is you go to look at the light super stock class at Rock Valley, you'll see a diesel powered tractor in that.
I was curious what's that is very, very interesting that
Mark
we're going
Ulmer
to
in the weapon.
Yeah. Now, the weapon typically pulls or can pull light super stock ag, right? But he's opting to pull it in the light supers.
Yeah.
I found that very intriguing.
Yeah. And the rule differences there, cubic inch it's 35 cubic inch difference. You can have up to 540 cubes on a diesel, 505 on an alcohol tractor, but going to be interesting to see what Mark's got up his sleeve here. I know he's been wanting and talking, last few years about putting a diesel tractor in with those Alki tractors. It's totally doable.
He ran it at Unionville. He ran the weapon with the light supers at Unionville last year. So he's flirted with this before.
I think he wants to beat the Alki guys with a diesel tractor is what he wants to do. He signed up both sessions with that in the light super stock. He'll be the only diesel tractor in that class.
I can visualize the grin on his face when he accomplishes that. And I am going to say when and not if. It might not be this weekend, but if someone can figure out how to beat those Alki burners in that class, Mark Ulmer just knows how to put a pulling vehicle from A to B and in the winner's circle. So that will happen at some point.
The last I checked the app a couple hours ago, there were 76 hooks signed up in Onawa Thursday night. 114 signed up in Rock Valley for Friday night. 79 for the Saturday day session and 93 for the Saturday evening session. Those numbers are going to go up. Like I said, there are a few tractors that normally would be there that, like the Gary Barrett, those familiar faces, those top runners in a specific class. Guys waiting on parts. It stinks, but it is what it is. It's the pulling. It's part of the game, and nobody expected for this shortage to last as long as it has. It's not just the parts themselves; it's the raw materials. Them getting the raw materials, getting the quality of raw materials that they got before to make those parts. So.
Another developing story that we're seeing on the app. We're raving about the app tonight, which I think is great. The app needs all the attention that it garners here because it's a great way to experience pulling. How about a modified, a lot of stories, a lot of angles here, a modified that's going to jump back and forth between both classes throughout the entire week, coming down all the way from Canada, and if I'm correct, has pulled with the Outlaws before. Ron, you seem like you're probably well-versed on this. Can you tell the fans about the Just Another Invader? Is that what that tractor's called?
Yeah, those guys have a couple of tractors. They have a light modified with a single Allison, and the Invader tractor can run either way. It can run with 2 Allisons or single. That tractor has kind of a history to it. I think it started out in the States. At one point was sold to someone in Europe. It was ran over in Europe for a while, then came back to the States. The Princes in Canada purchased the tractor. They were running it for several years. First time I saw it was 2020 in Rock Valley, actually, and they were yeah, they were taking the motor on and off to run it in light and 7,400-pound modified classes. So.
Yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun. Fred Petch had gifted us all those former programs, and I was sitting down looking at some of those yesterday, and I think the ones I grabbed were from 2014 or 2015. And I might have seen him. I'm not for sure, but I want to say maybe I had seen that tractor registered for points somewhere in there or show up at a pull or two. So, but I'm a big fan of anytime we see a vehicle kind of jump classes, take a motor on, put a motor off. And there's a few other mods that I've seen do that. They'll actually go from the 2 Hemis up front, and then we'll pull it back to 1 and jump back and forth. But, that's always fun at a big 3-session pull to watch them play in the sandbox with as many different combinations as they can.
I'm looking at the app. Hasn't been updated since about 2:30 today. So the numbers that I have are still the same. They do have to physically go in and update that as far as entries go. But for pullers out there that are trying to get signed up, they're not used to the app. You do not have to be a member to use the app. Go to events, click on the event you want to sign up for, then scroll down. Once you click on the event you want to sign into, scroll down, and at the bottom it'll say driver entry. I know that actually befuddled me before a couple of times when I was looking.
It hides from you if you don't scroll.
Yeah, you got to scroll down. Once you click on the pull you're entering, scroll down, and you'll see that driver entry button. Then you get a choice whether you're a member or a non-member. You could still sign in. So Zuck Fukerberg, the Prince family, good people. Yes, they are. Yes,
and they are encouraging drivers sign up early and often, and as early as you can. The full pull, I think full pull is going to be with us. The full pull picks and the full pull picks are the betting or gambling app is going to be. I think they're going to be in Concord. I think they're going to be in Rock Valley as well. So the sooner you get registered there, the more accurate and up to date they can operate. And then of course all of that revenue goes back towards just pulling as a whole and helps pullers, and it's just a win-win for everyone. So the sooner everyone signs up, the better for everything involved.
Yeah, the live betting there, the live wagering down at Whitewright was really cool. Got a lot of good reviews from that. Full pull picks. Of course, Full Pull Live will be running the live stream on at Rock Valley this Friday and Saturday. I think a lot of the things will remain the same as far as how it's produced. The Full Pull Live will be running that, and it's going to be a good deal. I really like it. I think a lot of people like the way the wagering was done in Whitewright. Down there, not sure what games they're going to be running. I need to re-download the app, Mike. I have a different phone now. I
noticed when I texted you today, I had a little blue bubble instead of a little green bubble. So you've gone to the dark side. Someone's finally twisted your arm and got you on an iPhone.
Got my Android a little too close to the pool on Thursday of last week, and
the 4th of July will get you, man.
So yeah, I'm learning the ways of the iPhone, and I need to download that app again. So yeah, if you want to wager on the pulls this weekend, go to fullpullpicks.com or download the app, which makes it even easier. So Mike, I'm going to turn it over to you for a minute, buddy. You've got somebody you want to highlight. Let's do that.
Yep. And it's I'm not going to sit here and say I designed it this way, but the stars did align, and I am kind of happy that it did go this way, with all the eyeballs being on Rock Valley this week, which is nothing to take away from Concord, nothing to take away from Onawa. Those are going to be massive pulls. I cannot wait to get out the door and get to those. But just being what happened in Rock Valley and that community's rallying, we do have a Rock Valley puller that we are going to feature on When the Smoke Clears. Now, they claim the two families aren't related, but we are going to be featuring a Van Beek family. So I'm going to pull this up really, really quickly, and I'll play you the video, and then we'll read the biography just as soon as that video plays. So When the Smoke Clears, you will see Dustin Van Beek. Dustin Van Beek from Rock Valley, Iowa, in the torched and twisted modified two-wheel drive truck. No relation to Kurt and Taylor, or so they claim. Just small world, I suppose, but from the same town, same name, but they are their own set of pullers out there. Unique vehicle, Ron. I haven't read his bio yet. I wonder if he's going to tell us his wildest ride actually was not in the seat of a pulling vehicle, but in the seat of a hauler that might have got a little hot.
Yeah, that's definitely the story on those trucks there a couple of seasons back when they were going to a pull in Iowa there, and I think they were literally pulling in, and people said, "Hey, the trailer's on fire," and they changed that truck's name used to be called the Twisted Sister. They decided to clear coat the look of the truck after it had been customized by Flame, and changed the name to Torched and Twisted, which I thought was kind of cool, actually.
Yeah, the truck actually, and that's a paint job. Many try to replicate that patina and whatnot, but that one does have a look all of its own. It's a mean looking and hard running two-wheel drive, no doubt about it.
Yeah, no doubt. They have a couple of trucks, the Van Beeks there, both of them hard runners for sure.
Yep. So Dustin says the name of his vehicle is Torched and Twisted, and he pulls in the naturally aspirated two-wheel drive truck class, or as Ron and I like to call them, just the modified two-wheel drive truck class. We've got the modifieds and the super modifieds, but no turbochargers, no superchargers allowed in that class. He has been pulling for 7 years. His first hook was in Slayton, Minnesota, and his most memorable hook was first place hook at 2022 Thunder in the Valley to win the Rock. Big pulls are hard to win. Big awards are hard to win. Hometown pulls are hard to win. So that's kind of the trifecta right there for Mr. Van Beek. So that would have been a big weekend for him, no doubt.
Yeah, the hometown curse is some people say is a real thing, and down in Whitewright, Ray Miller, could attest to that on his Friday night run.
Yep.
Though his boy jumped in the seat and won on Saturday night, so they corrected the Friday night mistake, and so not always true, but the hometown curse does bite some people in the butt.
It's a hard one to win, but not impossible to win. And when you do win it, they say it's about as meaningful as it gets. So
sweet victory for sure.
Yes. He says his wildest ride also was in Rock Valley, Iowa. He says the truck came unhooked from the sled. Didn't give us a year on that. You're shaking your head like you remember that one, Ron.
I think I recall that when it came unhooked. Yeah, he got to bouncing and the hook popped out. Of course, it may not happen. That may not ever happen again, or less likely to happen now since they mandated the spur there on the end of the hook to kind of keep it from popping out like that. But seen that happen a couple of times. It's not very often. Of course, the kill cable did its job and killed the ignition and the fuel pump, and all was good. So
and that spur this year, they always had a smaller one, but it's really expanded. And hopefully just make sure pullers, when you're going to your next pull, we're about, we're a third into the season now, so I'm sure adjustments have been made. But the first 2 or 3 pulls that I announced this year, there was more than one drop 6, we'll put it that way, as people ran back and got the grinder out because
the torches and grinders came out, the sparks started to fly. Yeah,
the spur is bigger and your hole has to be able to accommodate for that as well. So, but Dustin took a wild ride, so he's got great memories in Rock Valley. The hometown pull has given him a lot of memories. Points championships, I like the way he phrased this. He says TBD, to be determined. So none at the moment, but we're working on it. He'll get back to us with a date on that, he says. His biggest pulling hero is his father, Terry Van Beek. He says his best pulling advice is to be as consistent as possible and accept any advice or constructive criticism when given, as most of the time it'll only help you and make you better. Shake hands with your competitors at the end of the day. This guy's like the most diplomatically written biography I've ever read. I love it. I'm going to endorse it fully. But consistency. I wrote in one of my blogs or something earlier this week that points championships go to those who win the war, not the battle, you know. So it is all about consistency for sure.
Wise words, most definitely from Mr. Van Beek there. But
he says his day job, he's a welder and fabricator. His pulling goals are, of course, to come away with a points championship. The best part about being an outlaw, he says, we get to pull in front of some great fans and spectators, and the message to those fans and spectators, come out and support your local outlaw pulls. Ours is Thunder in the Valley, which is a good one. You can definitely say that, and you can follow them on social media at Slightly Twisted Pulling Team on Facebook. He says their first page was hacked, so it's the one with the black and white picture. So Slightly Twisted Pulling Team with the black and white picture. That's the one where you're going to find them. When the smoke clears, you're looking at an outlaw, and when the smoke clears, you're looking at Dustin Van Beek, the driver of the torched and twisted modified two-wheel drive truck.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yep.
I'm just looking at the schedule for the rest of July here, Mike. You know, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sessions this week. Albion is going on right now. Started at 7 o'clock. Next week, we have 5 sessions of pulling, 5 different events. Next Thursday is Bloomfield, Iowa. Then on next Friday, the 19th, I'll be in Montgomery City, Missouri at the Montgomery County Fair. You'll be in Lee, Nebraska.
Yep.
I think you're going to have fun there. Great crowd in Lee.
I look forward to that one. I've heard a lot of things about how that crowd interacts, and me being more of an energy, you know, that's kind of what I try to bring on the announcer's booth. What I lack in mechanical knowledge, I try to make up for it in enthusiasm, and they say Lee is one of those fun, responsive crowds. So that'll be fun.
And then next Saturday, you'll go from Lee, then you'll go on down to Pawnee City, another great location as well. I'll stay in the Show Me State. I'll go on to Warrensburg, Missouri.
Sure.
The Show Me Shootout there, 2-track event. The following week, Mike, we're back to a 7-session event. Britt, Iowa on the 24th, a Wednesday night. You're in Mercer, Missouri that night.
Yep.
The next night, I'll head across the state line to Nebraska. And you'll head north into Iowa to go to Sac City.
Sac City. That's when Kurt sent me the schedule this year, my fingers were crossed. That's my emotional pull. That's the first one I ever called. So I was hoping that would be one I could get back to. Do you remember? I mean, I'm sure you do. Where's the first place you announced that, Ron? What's the name of the town or the pull?
With the Outlaws or just in general? With the Outlaws, I think with the Outlaws it was Macon, Missouri.
Perfect.
That show with Fred Petch.
Perfect.
So,
yep.
Now my first tractor pull or truck pull I announced, I think it was a stomper pull back when I was like 12 years old or something.
Well, of course you're talking not just playing on your hands and knees, you're talking a legitimate where they lined them up, because you know if you count pushing around in your living room, boy, I've got 31 years of experience. So.
Then the 26th, we're in Wayne, Nebraska, the Wayne County Fair, 2-track big event, 12 classes.
And we'll be back to co-announcing or working that one together. I'm looking forward to that. I mean, I live streamed it last year, and Kevin really does a good job promoting that one. Yep. That's supposed to be a fun time as well.
Then the 27th, the last pull for us in July, I'll be in Platte City, Missouri. Big Platte City Smoke Show there, and then you're in Lamars, Iowa. So that one draws a big crowd, Mike.
Good.
In Lamars.
Good.
So did you do that one last year?
No, the only two Outlaw shows I did last year were Sac City and Wisner.
Okay.
Yep. So still building a lot, still kind of calling this my rookie season, still learning a lot. You know, you've got some, really big ones with the Warrensburg and the Montgomery City, and then you're going to go down to Washington later on, which is going to be a 2-session pull in August. You know, you're going to have some fun. Nothing you don't already know, but boy, you've got some heavy hitters on your side of the schedule.
Yeah, August is as busy, if not more busy, than July. Lots of big events coming up. And also, let's talk about the Holganix Sweep a little bit.
Yes.
We have 3 different classes that are going to be on their first hook for the Holganix Summer Sweep, Holganix Midwest Summer Sweep. And I'm going to throw a couple graphics up here, Mike. 540 Light Pro. You can see the schedule there. Their sweep starts out this weekend in Rock Valley.
Not only their sweep, but their season. This is their first hook on the year. I missed them when I was doing a points breakdown earlier this week. This is their first hook. So big time coming out the gate strong for those guys.
Yeah, you're going to call a couple of those hooks by yourself there, Mike Lee, Nebraska, and Pawnee City. That the 540 Light Pros will be there with you. Then the modified tractors, modified 7,400-pound modified tractors. Their sweep starts this weekend. And you can see the schedule there. They from Rock Valley. The sweep continues in Warrensburg, Wayne, the Iowa State Fair, Wisner, and Unionville.
Boy, they picked out the who's who for their sweep. Those are some tough, hard-hitting pulls to win. I mean, that's going to be a dog fight to come out on top to win those big ones right there.
Yep, the two-wheel drive class. Well, that's the modified two-wheel drive. I'm sorry. I can find the two-wheel drive here. You think the guy that made these would have labeled them a little better, you know? There we go. Super modified two-wheel drive. That schedule actually mirrors the modified tractors. The only two class schedules that are identical in the Holganix Midwest Summer Sweep. Of course, the story behind the Summer Sweep, $50,000, 11 classes, anywhere from 6 to 8 hooks. I think in general, there may be one class that has 9, but all the schedules except for those two, the mod two-wheel drive, super mod two-wheel drive, and mod tractors are different. We'll just go through them real quick. Light Pro starts this weekend. The Light Super Stocks, they started in Ravenna. So there's one hook. The Friday night session was rained out. So there's already some points there in that Light Super Stock class schedule. Ravenna, Rock Valley, Wayne, Iowa State Fair, Wisner, Unionville. Super modified two-wheel drive. We just looked at Pro Stock four-wheel drive. They'll get points in Onawa this Thursday. They started in Ravenna. Then they go to Warrensburg, Mercer, Iowa State Fair, Wisner. Limited Pro Stock. Jamie Yonke was asking me about this one, I think, a day or two ago. Started in Ravenna. They'll be in Rock Valley, Warrensburg, Mercer, Iowa State Fair, Unionville. Light Super Stock Ag. Ravenna was the first hook for them in the sweep. Onawa, Warrensburg, Wayne, Iowa State Fair, Wisner. Pro Stock, Ravenna, one hook for them. Then they skipped to Warrensburg.
So one of the few or some of the handfuls that we're not going to be featuring in Rock Valley this weekend.
Right.
Kind of also not at the Iowa State Fair. The Iowa State Fair was kind of a common denominator there for a little bit as well. So that's kind of neat. Give these guys something to mix it up and make all these pulls stand for something important. So
exactly. Cool. Super Farm, same way. They won't get points in the sweep. They will be pulling for points this weekend in Rock Valley. Outlaw points. The sweep, of course, is just an additional mini point series, if you will.
It's really fun because if you have a bad night or you miss a hook, it doesn't take much before you can be back there in the trailer and saying, boys, we're out of a point competition this year. But all of a sudden, this is almost your double jeopardy or your double down. Like you might be out of a points championship, but you could be in this Midwest Summer Sweep or this Summer Sweep and be gunning for something. So it's going to keep it entertaining.
Yep, Super Farm, a little pressure on the Super Farms this week. They've got 3 right in a row here this week.
That Super Farm class, I don't know how you win that thing. I was really diving deep into the points earlier this week. Wow, that thing just reads like a who's who of Super Farm pullers of any association. That you're going to wear one on the chin. That's going to be someone who survives is who's going to win that class.
Yeah, they've got to keep it together this week with 3 in a row there, the 11th, 12th, and 13th, Onawa and Rock Valley.
Loaded.
Modified tractors, we looked at that one. And then the modified two-wheel drives, a couple of hooks for these guys already, Norfolk and Manila.
Yeah.
So there's some points there.
So they're going to be this is super interesting. They're going to be halfway done tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Before a good portion of people are even getting going. And this is kind of what makes these summer sweeps so intriguing because you can't look away for a moment. You can't just say, well, I'm only going to watch, you know, a Wisner, Rock Valley, or the State Fair or whatever. Each of these pulls takes on major significance because of something like this.
So that's the modified 2-wheel drives. Yep, they'll be halfway done after tomorrow night with the sweep. They'll be pulling with you down there in Pawnee City, Nebraska, July 20th, August 2nd in Gibbon, Nebraska, and then August the 9th at West Point. You'll be there with them in West Point as well, Mike. I'll be in Missouri, I think, that night. So that's a good pull too, the West Point, Nebraska event.
Sure.
So just wanted to bring everybody up to date on that. Let's look at the point standings right now, Mike.
Yeah, well, I was hoping we would talk about it because there's a couple of them in there that some of them you can kind of go through and say, well, and here's going to be your top 2 or 3, but there's some points races that are, man, it's going to be down to the wire. The one I'm really enjoying so far is Mike Hargan's and the LLPs kind of sneaking up on top. You know, Brady Gosler seemed to look like the big favorite in that class. Right. He came out and won several times in a row, but Mr. Consistent Mike is actually sitting on top right now. That one's going to be a fun one to pay attention to.
Yeah, a lot of hooks in that class, so that's going to be a long season for those guys. The expectation was that Brady Gosler, you know, was going to be the favorite, like you said. He came out strong. He finished runner-up last season.
Yep.
2-wheel drive, Super Mod 2-wheel drive. You know, look at there, points champ from a couple of years back, Richard Morris.
2022 and 2023, you know, sitting 1 and 2 right there. But then look at your top 5 are separated by 11 points, and your 3, 4, and 6 all come out of the same stable. So you're going to see some slugging around in that class too.
There's literally, I know it says Mark Jansen, the Whippet truck. The truck actually comes out of Texas. So out of the top 6 there's only one non-Texas truck, and it's the guy leading it. And that's Richard Morris out of Missouri.
And that truck has such a unique setup and such a unique sound and driving style. Someone who's not afraid to point it skywards. I mean, old school wheel standing guy and the longest headers you've ever seen, and just wins. I mean, you kind of have to go through him, it seems like, anytime you're going to win that class.
Yeah, that truck, the design on those headers, those zoomies that he's got on there, you know, they go down and up, you know, to clear the body of the truck. It's a classic Willys pickup. When I was announcing in Unionville last year, when he went blowing by, you know, I was kind of leaning over the rail there in the crow's nest. About blew the hat off my head when he went by. So, a lot of compression coming out of those pipes. Modified 4-wheel drive, the Ramrod, Lane Thornton leading
top
the pack.
1, 2, and 3 all out of the same stable, and not a ton of surprises right there. Those guys have really had things figured out. But talk to us about that number 4 spot, and do you think that number 4 guy is going to be content where he's at? I look for him to climb in a hurry.
No, they're not going to be content there. They've got a brand new motor, you know, for this season. They're pretty excited about it. It's a big cubic inch motor. He won't tell me the cubic inch yet. So.
He hit his closed caption behind the scenes story. I'll go ahead and spill the tea. He said, Ron, it's somewhere between 400 and 1,000. So it's in there. Fan. Did you hear in Manila the way that thing sounded? It had a sound completely all its own, and it's going to be charging hard before the year's over.
Yeah, I promise you it's closer to the high-end side of that number.
Closer to 1,000 than 400.
3.0 diesel pickups, Jason Wayman. I mean, he's 5 points ahead of Skylar Leeper right now. You know, he's consistent. He's winning. Leeper is one to watch, though. Ryan Stahl, of course, the defending champ. You can't count him out. But, yeah, Leeper is only 5 points behind him. So, and only 2 points back from there in the chain smoker. So you got a diesel pickup.
He's going to turn some heads. You know, sometimes I talk about a dark horse or an X factor. I don't want to label him that because I think he's a step above or whatever. You know, that's another stacked class, and we'll see more Midwest pullers. You know, that their only hook's been down in Texas. They were a long ways from home, so you'll start seeing the numbers in that class increase as the year goes on as well.
David James picking up where he left off last year with his first Outlaw championship. 5 points ahead of Luke Renner and running wild. Then 7 points back is last year's runner-up, Matt Phelps in the dirt. Tammy Hunick, the dirt diva, only 3 more points back from there. She was a runner-up a couple of years ago.
She's kind of quiet, Miss Consistent. You know, she's always there, very experienced, very measured in that class, does a nice job. So maybe her day in the sun is not far away.
Yep. Keith Hammond's a bipolar, Pro Stock 4x4. Of course, he's
who? Who's that guy? Never heard of him.
Yeah,
Keith, bipolars. Yeah, that one. No lead is safe. No lead is safe, but Keith is Keith's a safe bet in that class.
But only 7 points ahead of the Selmans in the Rat Trap, so don't count them out. Jeremy Stevens in third. Phil Chrysler, I hear he's on a mission this year, so don't count him out.
He can drive a Pro Stock 4-wheel drive truck. I mean, he absolutely can. So, yeah, be on the lookout for him. Breaking Loose, if Breaking Loose hadn't suffered some bad damage there in Ravenna, if I'm thinking of the correct truck, weren't they the ones I think had some boo-boos? I think we'd see them higher as well.
You have to refresh my memory on that.
Was it Breaking Loose or was it Chain Stretcher? I feel like one of those tore up the rear end in Ravenna, and I kind of felt like they had everything poised for a big run this season.
Well, they're running the same engine program as Hammond, so they're running all the same. So is the Selman's truck. That's the same Rat Trap.
Yeah.
The same. Of course, it's a Ford, but
Yeah.
3200 Superfield. Casey Asmus leading by 2 points over the defending points champion Gary Kavanaugh. Pretty cool.
They've just had one hook. They've just pulled a Norfolk, so that just reflects their hook they've had there.
Then you had Diesel Superstocks. This class pretty rough on these guys. These Diesel Supers tied up right now between Tyler Buckman, Born Green, and the Schultz family's Remedy.
This is precisely why I would not be surprised to see Red Horse show up, because he, as you can see on the app, is registered for points. He went ahead and registered for points while he was in Whitewright, swept the weekend, grabbed himself 56 points. If they don't have anything going on, they might look at each other and say, we're only one hook away from being in the lead of this class. Now, my boss is listening. Remedy's running away with this class. It's, of course we're cheering for the Remedy, no doubt. But it's interesting what kind of happens when you start breaking these points down. So I wouldn't be surprised to see them this weekend because of that.
Yeah, and don't count out those teams that are having troubles early on. They may start hitting their stride, get things figured out. Things could change in a hurry. Here.
It's a time bomb, and they'll go back and fix it, and the guy who thinks he's going to come up and win easily, he's holding that pin on that grenade just like everybody else in that class.
Light Limited Pro, we talked about that. Mike Hargan's leading with a decent lead over Brady Gosler, 7 points. Molly Edmeister in third right now. That's
yes, and I saw that, and that's kind of what I thought. And you know what? Keep the consistency, keep the positive traction moving. Kind of a fun story developing there as well.
Limited Pro Stock, the Mean Farmer, Dave Novak, Brian Deck in second with Dream On. Joe Moriando in third right now in that. He's only 5 points back. George Beyer, last year's champion, in fourth right now with the side piece. Lane Paulson, that tractor, Life in the Fast Lane. Taking turns driving the tractor with his sister now, Daly Paulson. They sold Daly's tractor. That tractor went to Tennessee, so the siblings are taking turns driving the Life in the Fast Lane tractor.
I look for side piece and Life in the Fast Lane, even though I don't think anyone would have expected George Beyer to be sitting in fourth place after a handful of hooks. I look for that fourth and fifth spot. I look for those two tractors to really shake the order up as the season goes on. I think those are two tractors we're going to see find their stride and have a lot of success. They're going to have to get by some heavy hitters. Those 4-1s, the Outlaw 4-1s, take a back seat to no one, including that Badger deer that comes down from Wisconsin and plays with us. I think he won in Ravenna, so that's gonna be a tough class too.
Yeah, and interestingly enough, the number one tractor right now that it is a former points champion from just a couple seasons back is for sale. That tractor is for sale.
The Mean Farmer is?
The Mean Farmer is, yes. Unless he's changed his mind from a couple of pulls back.
It's funny what, how if he's still sitting number one at the end of the season, if that for sale sign might have gotten lost somewhere,
And if you look at the light super stock points, Frank Bowlboy, who finished second last year, leading the points. One name that, interestingly enough, is not on that list right now. And that's the Hoffman tractor, the last one standing.
I noticed that, yes. And they picked up a win in Manila. But it looks like, are we to conclude then that they are not pulling points with us?
Yeah, that's the assumption here. They didn't sign up to run points. Of course, Justin, just a couple of weekends back when we were down in White Ride, he was getting married.
Yeah, so
congratulations.
He's got other priorities at the moment. So
that's right. Justin and Autumn Hoffman now, newly married couple there.
The other one then, and I don't know the story here, but it's also interesting if you go back to those four-wheel drive truck class, they've only had one hook, and the winner of that class is not first place in points either. So I wonder if they also are not currently hooking for points, or if the things are just kind of developing there as well.
Are you talking about modified four-wheel drive?
Yeah. They hooked in Manila, and I believe Joe Claypool won that. And I did not see Joe's name in the points, so that might be kind of a freelance season for Joe this year.
Yep, that's true. Joe did win that in Manila. Light Superstock Ag, Corey Schluter, the barn burner. You knew that once they got that thing figured out, it was going to be tough to beat. But man, there's some good tractors in there. Tyler Ulmer, right behind him.
From a fan's perspective, the barn burner and Eleanor, they almost remind you of like Cardinals Cubs, or like it just seems like those are two that just go back and forth, and you just feel like that's going to be one of those heavy hitters, and going to be a fun race watching those guys chase each other all year long.
This is one I think it's cool to see him in there. Tyler Spatansky in the top three. He's in third. The Born Loser Light. Now, I was told that is a former power plant. That's a former setup that was in Mark Ulmer's The Weapon, from what I'm being told.
Okay.
That's why that one's running so good this year. I'm not sure if that's true or not, but I heard that.
Makes you wonder if that plays into why we saw the new iteration of the Weapon hooking Light Super then too. If there haven't been some changes and whatnot.
Don Schulte Jr. still going for broke. Of course, he had that awesome walk-off win in Arlington.
PJ wasn't just gently backpedaling. PJ was turning and sprinting with the flag on that. That's one of the best hooks of the year so far. That thing was moving.
Pro stock, Doug Sabatka leading the field. By 1 point over last year's champion, Cody Ark, in second. That's a good battle going on. Kyle Carson's a lot of green. Is 4 points out of the top spot. Gray Porter, Gang Green, only 8 points back. Yeah. And Wampus Cat, Greg Jager, I skipped over him, but he's literally tied for third. They're third and fourth. Only 8 points separating first and fifth in that pro stock class. So that one's heating up as well. Let's look at the regional points, regional limited pro stock.
This is what I thought. This is why this breaks my heart to hear what I heard earlier. This is exactly where I thought they were at.
Gary Barrett leading by a point over Brian Deck, leading 3 points over Dave Novak. And the Mean Farmer, then the one Mean Farmer is in fourth there behind the Mean Farmers. We got the Mean Farmer, we got one Mean Farmer, both in the top 5 in regional points. Super Farm, Dakota Deer, Alan Andrews, picking up where he left off from last season, leads the pack, 5 points back. Luke Schmidt, Cornhusker Cadillac, that's a tough tractor. Chad Weisenkamp, Someday, is 6 points back. The Blaze of Glory, Jared Johansson, 10 points back. And then Chad Andrews, the Bruley Buck, rounding out the top 5 there.
You get your money's worth. You go to any Outlaw pull this summer, and if the super farms are hooking just because of the pound for pound level of competition, we've got a guy with a win. Usually if you've got a win on the year, you're going to be in top 4, maybe top 3. We've got a guy with a win this year sitting in 7th. I mean, it's with that Wallman 1066. They won in Arlington. They won somewhere. I think they won in Arlington.
Maybe it was.
No, maybe it was Manila. Manila feels a little more right.
Anywho, I did interview him at Manila. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. So I mean, you got Red Rock. Red Rock's won this class multiple times, sitting in 6th. This class is just loaded. This class is, and there's a lot of good ones we haven't even seen yet this year that we're going to see in Rock Valley. You know, ones like Spanky's Toy and Doctor's Orders and other ones like that. That's a stacked class.
That Wallman 1066 tractor, he's been knocking on the door for a couple of years and finally got him a win. He was due for sure there at Manila. Light limited mod. Blake Ott leading the pack once again, but only by 4 points over last year's Rookie of the Year. Wes Sievers in 2nd. Gage Ott 6 points back in 3rd. Go back 5 more points there. You got Andrew Beckman and Pure Pressure. Round out top 5 is Garrett Geiger, Captain Hook 2. Mod tractors. Donald Nelson in control right now with the Twisted Whip, coming off that sweep down in Whitewright at Thunder and the Lone Star. Cameron Neves not far behind him, 5 points back. It's Cotton Candy. Sweet Pain, boy, they had a bad night on Saturday down in Texas. It wasn't their weekend.
When you go to Full Pull Picks and they give you $25 free to play with for signing up, and you say, well, you know what, I'm right in the middle of this, so I probably don't like to gamble too much, but it's $25 for free. And I told myself I'm going to pick the safest. I'm going to make the safest bet ever. So I picked Omer and Don Nelson to finish in the top 3. I was like, I'm not even gambling. And just, you know, you're right. It is not often that Mr. Craig and Ty Omer are outside the top 3 in that class.
You can bet that one stung a little bit, Mike.
Right.
Finished on Saturday night, and you could bet they went back to the drawing board come Monday morning. They were probably actually thinking about it all the way back to Larchwood from Whitewright, what they needed to do, what they needed to improve on, what they're not doing, and correct those. That team is very intent.
Yeah.
They look at all the details, my friend. And you can bet that they went back to the drawing board the last couple of weekends. In that
interesting to see in this class is the first time it's dawned on me that the Turbinator, after its massive pass in Ravenna, I see is not hooking for points. I'm sure we haven't seen the last of him, and I feel like the pulling world is kind of holding their breath to know, will we see that thing hook up that way every single time? You know, and I wonder if some of these guys are saying, hey, you know, he's not running for points. That's maybe after what we saw in Ravenna, we're kind of okay with that. So, because that was a big one that he laid down there.
Yep, and I think they are still involved in some the kids involved in some sports and things, and that's priority for them, and there's nothing wrong with that, you know.
Oh, absolutely not. Nope.
Hey, our BG pool party buddy is watching.
Oh yeah.
So thanks for watching.
He's always a good time, and he likes to hop around and support us anywhere that we can.
He's got a message for you here, Mike.
Yeah, I haven't seen this movie. I haven't seen the movie in years, so I'm gonna have to watch it. So, Ron, I bought a fishing boat that I went out boating with on the 4th of July. So, no, you're hearing of this for the very first time.
Oh, am I? Okay.
In case anybody's watching, you're hearing of this for the very first time.
Oh, very cool. You got a boat. Very nice.
There's an inside joke here. Come and see us at the track sometime, and I'll let you in on it. But we were talking about my boat last night. So evidently I'm from Grumpy Old Men or something like that.
So Zook is talking about Richard Morris's truck. We were talking about how loud it is and how different it sounds. Joe Claypool says he is running for points.
Okay. Good. So yeah, I just was curious just looking at what the app showed. So that
and I thought something was up there because there was a glitch or something, because it shows the winner of the class that night only got 26 points.
Yeah.
For the Outlaws,
wondered
if the winner, if it's a points runner, they get a bonus point for winning.
Yeah.
So first gets 28, second gets 26. But the winner of that pool that night only shows that they got 26 for some reason, which they should have got 27 if a non-points runner would have taken first and they got second.
Yeah.
They would get 27. It's just how it works. So
Yep.
good to see that Joe is running for
Excellent.
20.
Excellent.
Marty Samuelson, he's speechless. Not sure what he's trying to say here, but he's enjoying the show. So, well, Mike, man, let's call it quits for tonight. We've run over once again, but it is a busy week. I'm surprised we didn't go even longer than this. So, tonight Albion's going on right now. If you want to watch that pool, switch over. Go to outlawpulling.tv. Tomorrow night, Concord, Nebraska, same thing. You watch it live if you can't be there. Thursday night, big show at the Monona County Fair in Onawa, Iowa. Then, of course, Friday night will be in Rock Valley, Iowa, Thunder in the Valley. That's going to be on Full Pull Live. So you want to get that account set up. If you have an account subscription with Outlaw Pulling TV, they will be sending you a code so you can watch it for free. Just to put out there for everybody, you don't have to send a donation to Rock Valley, but it would be appreciated. Goodwill donation. That community has been through a lot. And then, of course, Saturday at the day event for Rock Valley Thunder in the Valley, the night session for Thunder in the Valley, 3 of those sessions. And then, of course, will be at David City Saturday night as well. So a huge pulling week for the Outlaws. Case Conover saying good evening. Good night, Case. Lori says, see you in Rock Valley. We'll be there. We'll be 2 pulls in already, but we'll be there. Going to Concord tomorrow night and Onawa on Thursday. So, Mike, any parting words from you, my friend?
I can't wait. It's it's not been without its challenges, but we are the Outlaw family. I'm happy to be a member of it, and cannot wait to see everyone again. And folks, pulling's fun. Pulling's fun. Watch a pull somewhere this week.
And Mike, if I know you, I know what you're going to do as soon as you get off here.
I'm going to be down there live streaming Albion on outlawpulling.tv.
There you go. I knew it.
It's my
I can
favorite
hear
thing
it
to
in
do.
the other room. All right. Mike, good night. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We'll see you out at the pulls this week. Have a good week.
Take care, Ron.
Thank you.